Welcome back. It's an increasingly huge chunk of the SUNCOAST economy, sports tourism. In fact, we're winning honors for it. Sarasota County recently won the Excellence in Sports Tourism Award from the Florida Parks and Recreation Association last year. Around 80 sports events were held around the county, bringing in some $33 million. This year, it should be huge with the World Rowing Championship at Nathan Benderson Park. But how will the proposed sale of the premier sports campus in Lakewood Ranch not only impact local athletes, but also the budding industry of local sports tourism? And joining us for more on the proposed deal is ABC7 reporter Kate Flexter and Max WINITZ, Media and Public Relations Manager for the upcoming World Rowing Championship at Nathan Benderson Park. And you might remember he is also a former reporter here at ABC7. And welcome back, Max.
Thank you. Good to be back. A little bit weird,
yeah.
But
last time you were at the trapezoid, you were sitting on the other side.
That's true. Yeah.
But Kate, this came out of the blue a little bit. I mean, we all knew about the sports park there, and it is a mecca. There was supposed to even be a professional football team that trained out of there, and I'm wondering if county commissioners and the Chamber of Commerce were caught off guard by what seems to be an incredible offer.
I don't think it was something that they expected at all. And I did reach out to Schroeder Manatee Ranch to see where this is coming from. They didn't give me a lot of an answer. I think we'll see and learn more as it develops. But it is an important thing, especially as we see that East County growth.
Right. So what is going on now with this proposal?
Well, right now what's happening is that county staff is going to present commissioners with a report, and then commissioners will decide whether or not they want to move forward with the deal. In talking to Carol Whitmore, as you just saw in the story, she says that they really expect that they will move forward with it. I think it's more of a matter of how they might go about paying for it. It's a mix of those tourism dollars as well as impact fees.
Right, and it's not just paying for it out front. Maintenance is a huge issue involving this because, there are spring training facilities all around this state that major league teams have either moved out to Arizona or moved to other parts of Florida. In many communities, the local counties have taken them over, but operating them is another story. And there's a facility in Lakeland and Old Dodgertown which kind of get run down because it's expensive to keep these things up. I would imagine the fees that people pay and teams pay for being there are going to be helpful in terms of maintenance.
I think the return on investment is pretty big in these sorts of situations. So I think that for them, they see it as a great opportunity.
Of course, we've been talking all night about us becoming a sports mecca, and I guess the jewel in the crown is the World Rowing Championships. Max, how many people are expected to come into the area?
So the World Rowing Championships, to the layman, let me give a brief description. This event is what the World Cup is to soccer, what the Super Bowl is to football, what the World Series is to rowing. From September 23rd through October 1st of this year, so only about 71 days away from right now, we're expecting 40,000 spectators, over 1,700 elite athletes from probably about 70 countries participating in this event with an economic impact of $25 million. So it is a win-win. It is a win for this community. It is a win for our local businesses, our malls, our restaurants, the lodgings, and we can't wait to welcome the world to Sarasota Bradenton. And to follow up with something Kate said and what Carol Whitmore said in the report, I see that as a huge win for Manatee County if they were to purchase this park. Let's talk about Nathan Benderson Park, which is a Sarasota County-owned facility. Nathan Benderson Park in the last year alone has generated close to, I believe, $30 million in economic impact for this area, with the regattas taking place there, with the triathlons, with some of the other non-sporting events that take place at the park. So why wouldn't you want to own, as a county, a facility like Premier? It's an economic generator.
Especially at a deeply discounted price, as we mentioned. I mean, $5 million versus the $20 million value. I guess they said that the $5 million is only what they've spent to build those facilities there. So really, they're not making any money off of this. I think they see it as an opportunity to help the county with this expansion that they're seeing out east.
Okay, let's take a quick break. We are just getting started, and we will pick up the discussion right after we check on the weather. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are discussing a proposed deal to give the Lakewood Ranch premier sports campus to Manatee County. As part of the deal, the county would pay off construction costs and agree to expand facilities on the property. Our guests tonight are ABC7 reporter Kate Flexter and Max WINITZ, who is the media and public relations manager for the 2017 World Rowing Championship at Nathan Benderson Park. Kate, that area of Manatee County is really exploding these days, isn't it?
It is. I actually talked to a developer who works with Schroeder Manatee Ranch, and he called I-75 the new Main Street of Manatee County because we really are seeing so much growth out there. And I think what we're also seeing is this need for infrastructure updates. And I don't necessarily mean in terms of roads and things like that, but additional parks like we're seeing here, schools, libraries. So there's a little bit of a game of catch-up that they're playing, the commissioners, to accommodate the growth that they're seeing there and make sure that those people don't have to make like a 17-mile trek across the county to go to a pool.
But when we're talking about taking over a business like this, which deals with sports teams and different sports coming in week after week after week, that's whole business, which I would imagine the county is not used to doing. And Max, you have at least an incredible window in terms of how it works at Benderson Park. You don't work for the park itself, but what does Sarasota County have to do to manage what's going on there?
So like you said, it's just a massive operation. Sarasota County realized that when Nathan Benderson Park was constructed. So they brought in what is referred to as SUNCOAST. You've talked about it on the news all the time. It stands for SUNCOAST Aquatic Nature Center Associates. Those are the folks who maintain and manage the park. As you said, I don't work for them, but we obviously, with the World Rowing Championships, work very closely with them. The job that they do, Sarah Kupiak, Bob Sullivan, Jessica Shorin, Melissa Mitchell, Bob Whitford, managing these events that are taking place there on just about every single weekend. It is a tough job. We were involved with the U.S. Rowing Youth National Championships, which took place there just a couple of weeks back. It was sort of our test event for the World Rowing Championships. And I got to tell you, it was frustrating at times, but it was a great learning experience for us. And seeing what the SUNCOAST folks do, again, on almost a week, every single weekend, it's amazing.
Because the World Rowing Championships, that's not the end of this journey. It's really only the beginning of it. I believe the NCAA championships are coming here. Is it the following year?
Yes, and then in 2018, the World Rowing Masters Regatta, which actually features more athletes than our regatta. That is kind of your senior rowers, the older rowers, that's referred to as the Masters. That event will be taking place at Nathan Benderson Park. And the whole point of building Nathan Benderson Park was to host these huge international regattas like the 2017 World Rowing Championships and the 28 World Rowing Masters Championships. So it's doing the job.
As part of your job, you have spoken to community groups, every kind of civic association from the entire SUNCOAST. Do you get a sense of the awareness that that sports tourism is really a great thing to be involved with, and that our particular region, both Sarasota and Manatee counties, we have the opportunity to really kind of corner the market?
I think so. Today I spoke to the Sarasota Newcomers group out at the Bird Key Yacht Club, and like you said, we've been doing that for probably the past 8 months, going to every single civic and social organization throughout the two-county area to tell them about the World Rowing Championships. And I think people are psyched. You have your folks who are obviously concerned with things like traffic and parking, things like that. But I think they all understand the economic impact that events like the World Rowing Championships have on this community and what it does for this community. So I think people are embracing that.
Kate, when the county comes up with a plan to do this, do you suppose that plan is going to not only include the expanding this into the future, but also taking a look at what it's really going to take in terms of, you mentioned infrastructure, but is that area around East Manatee County, do they have enough roads and accommodations to handle the influx of people who are going there?
Well, I think that they already are handling a lot of those people. They already see a big influx of people coming there. If they are looking to expand, though, then I think they'll have to really consider it and really sit down and see if they do have the infrastructure to support it. But I think that this is just scratching the surface. They're expecting a huge expansion of this industry in Manatee County.
And again, when are we going to know more in terms of whether or not the county is going to be willing to do this? And do we know what would happen if the county takes a pass?
Well, I don't know in terms of a timeline, but I do know the steps that still need to happen. So county staff is going to present that report to county commissioners, and then they'll decide if they want to move forward with it. As far as a pass, I'm not sure if that's in the cards or not. Carol Whitmore, the commissioner that we spoke to, says that she doesn't expect that it is.
Meanwhile, you are on a countdown clock.
Yeah, 71 days.
Are you ready?
I think so. Yeah, no, we're psyched. We're going to have some sleepless nights, but it's going to be such a great event for this community. We are excited to showcase these athletes from, we've been telling people 60 countries. Now it sounds like it's going to be 70 to 80 countries.
Incredible, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great time to be a sports fan on the SUNCOAST.
Absolutely.
Let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have final thoughts from our guests, plus what some of our viewers are saying about last night's topic, the President's Voting Commission. Welcome back. Lakewood Ranch's premier sports campus draws hundreds of thousands of people for sporting events each year. Should Manatee County make a deal to control the property, and how would it affect residents and visitors who use these facilities? Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. Kate, once again, what is on the table here, and why is it being offered?
Well, they're offering this premier sports campus, and I think that in talking to county commissioners, they see it as an incredible offer. As I said, it's a discounted price, and it could pose a huge economic opportunity for the county.
And this is a variety of different sports, from football to soccer, people from around the country coming in, professional and amateur, and using this facility, which is really state of the art.
Absolutely, and I think it sounds obvious, but Florida's weather doesn't hurt. It makes it a year-round destination for people of all different sports.
Max, T-minus 71 days. What should viewers expect over the next couple of weeks? What will they see? What will they hear in our community as we march up to these championships?
Sure. In the next few weeks, you're going to start to see containers, the large containers that you see on cargo ships, come into Nathan Benderson Park. Those containers will contain the rowing shells that these countries are bringing over here. More importantly, the message that I really want to get across to everybody out there is, if you're not a fan of rowing, this event is still going to be a fun, tremendous time. I didn't know anything about the sport going into it, and I know a lot of people don't understand anything about it, but there's going to be something for everybody at this event. Live entertainment, food trucks galore, the seating options are incredible. But more importantly, you are welcoming 1,700 athletes from around the world, and I know I kind of speak for Virginia Haley with the Sarasota County, Visit Sarasota County, and Elliot Falcioni from the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. But the hope is that they will fall in love with this area, the spectators, the athletes, and the coaches. And the hope is that they're going to come back as vacationers, or perhaps even in the future as residents.
That's fantastic. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. Before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about last night's topic, President Trump's voting commission. The president assembled the 15-member commission to investigate his claims of widespread voter fraud in the 2016 presidential election. The majority of states are refusing to comply with requests for your personal information, like your driver's license number, social security number, signature, and more. Now the commission is on hold, facing legal challenges over a violation of privacy. And here is what some of you are saying. George Seeley writes, unnecessary data collection. Voter fraud is nothing compared to voter misinformation and intimidation. Ronald Matson Sr. writes, I have nothing to hide and suspect the reason the Democrats are stalling is that they know there is considerable voting fraud for Democrats. And Penny Franklin writes, this is a violation of privacy. The request is based on 45's losing the popular vote by millions. His ego can't handle that. Voter fraud hoax, a waste of time and money. I have nothing to hide. A model citizen. that even pays taxes. Well, what do you think about the deal for Manatee County to take over the premier sports campus? Join our conversation tonight by visiting our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions. They're on demand, available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thanks to both our guests for being here tonight. Kate Fluxter is a reporter here at ABC7 News, and Max WINITZ is a former reporter here at the station, and he now serves as the Media and Public Relations Manager for the 2017 World Rowing Championships at Benderson Park.